These particular test sections, we constructed over a soft clay soil subgrade. We put in a large rock subbase, so it's a very coarse material, and we have two sections here, one that has 9 inches of this rock and another with 18. And what we, after paving it now, we're seeing large deflections in the asphalt surface over the material that only has 9 inches of rock. And so now we're going to have to make a decision as to how to repair this so that we can actually run a study that will last many years. We can't, as it stands, we're not going to be able to maintain such a weak system, and so we're going to have to decide what to do next in order to correct this and continue the experiment. Yeah, the 18-inch thickness, that appears to be adequate, and that's sort of more typical of what we would use in a situation like this, where we've got a soft clay soil and we're trying to build a road foundation on top of that. Sort of 18 inches of rock is more of a standard practice. Again, not normal, but that's something that in the past has worked well. When we had 18 inches, that was enough to keep the rock basically clean. Now when we only have 9 inches of rock, the clay is pumping up into that rock and making it move around in there, and that's not going to work. We're going to be reconstructing this in order to continue the experiment, and what we'll do is, in the area where we had this 9-inch subbase, this 9 inches of rock, we're going to pull all this off, lay down either a fabric or a grid, and then put the 9 inches of rock back, the same aggregate base back, and then pave that, and that should be similar in performance to the 18 inches without the fabric or grid. So we'll have the test will be 18 inches of rock with no fabric or grid versus 9 inches of rock with either the fabric or the grid. So that's how we plan to correct the situation here and move on over the next several years with our test. That's good. Part of our job out here is not only to look at the long-term performance, but actually the constructability issues are also very important. So in this particular case, again, we were pushing the limits of simulating a project that's would not be typical of how MnROAD or any other state would prepare their foundations. We always like to prepare the soil as best we can. So that means having a well-compacted soil foundation that's has the correct moisture content. Out here, we purposely weakened the soil. We purposely created a foundation that was not typical, and so that was pretty much expected. We knew we were pushing the limits with such a thin rock subbase on this, and so we're not really all that surprised. I mean, that's partly why we're out here, is to test the limits of our pavement design.